Hey everybody, it's Rebecca Main here with another episode of Write, Rewrite, where I am breaking down the Breakout Novel by Daniel Maass. So the next chapter we are on, chapter 4, aka what I am considering chapter 3, because the first chapter is like an introduction premise thing. So, my chapter 3 is time and place. Honestly, kinda meh. This is like the first chapter that has been that, it's like, okay. Now, I just want to preface by admitting that I am a skipper. I am a skipper of descriptions as a reader. If I'm not feeling an author's like word flow and they're going into deep description about something, I kind of skip. I breeze over it until I get to dialogue. It's super hit or miss for me. And so going into this chapter and seeing that it was going to cover basically setting, just kind of went in with like a little bit of bias. Just a little bit. I love setting scenes. I do. But I love them because that means I get to control and create an atmosphere. It's more than just a setting to me. Is that room cold? Is it dirty? Is it too hot? How does it like amplify whatever scene I'm about to put my characters in? And I was hoping that I'd get a little more oomph and pizzazz from this chapter, but I was like, okay, it was fine. There are definitely a few good nuggets in here that I want to share with you. So allow me to begin. Let us see. This is right at the start. Oh, I did appreciate this because Maass acknowledges just kind of how scene setting isn't as, it's not like it's not important. It's obviously important, but he acknowledges that it's like not the biggest, I don't want to say trend, but it's the only word I can think of. Trend in writing. Let me just read what he said. He says it very well. You'll get it. In 19th century novel writing, it was usual to treat the landscape as a character in the story. In the 21st century, we may have less patience for scenery. Most of the time. But we certainly expect a novel to show us the world as a vital force in which the characters move. It may be hostile or seductive. You don't say. Sprawling or confined, gritty or charming, closely observed or wildly improvisational. Whatever the author's approach, we want to live in the world of the story. Correct. See, he's got points. He's got points. The truth is, every story has a context. It is there whether you put it into words or not. Those novelists who eschew description are probably infusing other aspects of their story with a strong sense of time and place, their dialogue. Correct. A novel is a world unto itself. It is not the real world, though it may reflect it, but it is a world that lives and breathes, alternates between day and night, changes and grows, acts upon the characters, or is indifferent to them. Yeah. That. I know those things. I feel those things. I feel like I didn't need to read about those things. I feel it though, you know? And I don't just want my settings or scenes to be props. I want them to work with my characters and the plot and the dialogue. Like, I want my settings to enhance those or put them in stark contrast to just help bring out those subtle distinctions my characters' personalities may have, or just hinting at who they were or who they are to become. Those are fun. Those are fun to think about. Thinking of the importance of setting makes me think of Hemingway, who used it maybe not as a character like Maass sort of suggests or says was done, but as a really vital part to painting a story as a whole. I remember Dr. J, one class, breaking down one of Hemingway's story in which a man and a woman were at a train station, waiting for a train to come in, having a difficult conversation. He was going to be leaving her. And in the background, there is this lush green, there are mountains. It just screams of hope and possibility, really, when you carve out just this description. And that's on one side of the train station. And on the other, it's just like this long dirt road. It's shady, so it's darker over there. And the woman is on this darker side, and the man is on the green and filled of life side, and he was going. So it was a really brilliant way to add subtle layers to the distinction of the character's emotions. And I like that. I really do. I think TVs and movies get to have so much fun playing with colors and shadows to help amplify a mood. Like, you are literally getting a visual, but it's not so easy for writers. It can be really easy to just get in the wrong flow. There's this thing called information dumping. I have done this. I apologize. But I also think there's kind of this description dumping that can be done where you really want to paint a vivid scene as a writer, but either like that flow just isn't right or it's too much. And maybe you don't mean for it to be too much, but it is. Like, you want it to be immersive and pull you in, when in fact you are just shoving your reader away. And I think there is a way to find a balance between that. Writing those super descriptive scenes, though, isn't exactly my writing style, I don't think. I want writing my scenes to be more than a scene. I want it to create an atmosphere and bring you in, not push you away, like I said before. And I feel like I'm going to be able to get to do that so much more in my upcoming series, where I have these supernaturals living in this hidden but sort of plain in sight underworld, dark court. I am so excited, and I know setting is going to play a huge part in it. I am trying to map out, as we speak, the entire layout of the place. I've had to go back and reread my book to just take notes on it, on how I have described everything, because I did not do a good job of taking notes the first time around and saving descriptions. So now I have 10 pages of notes to work with and to build a scene. and setting, but it's going to be more than that because I have this element of vampires who are hundreds of years old, and I need to bring in those nuanced details that make vampires, I don't know, so cool. Like what century they're from, what things have they brought with them, and have they kept in their mannerisms and behaviors and their clothing style as the centuries pass, and how does that taste and decor and setting, how does it look down there? Does it reflect that? What parts are updated and what isn't? So many things to consider. But that is an exciting challenge because that all gets to be like one. It's not just, oh, create a setting. It's, oh, bring forward like these old lives and find ways to show and paint a picture of these vampires' history and the history of like this court. That is so much more than setting. I'm really excited for it. So while I did not get the most, honestly, out of this chapter, there were a few nuggets here and there that did help me, help. There were some good reminders in this chapter of how to write time and place well. Allow me to share them with you. Let's see. You can deepen the psychology of a place in your story by returning to a previously established setting and showing how your character's perception of it has changed. I'll be doing that. Vampires. Vampires. Here's another. I would like to suggest that a useful principle for making place an active character is to give your characters an active relationship to place, which in turn means marking your character's growth or decline through their relationships to their various surroundings. This is not as easy as it may sound. It is an effort to chronicle that changing dynamic. Places do not speak dialogue. They do not take action. Not too often, anyway. I'd be very interested to hear the book that does that. To characterize them, you must force a pause, or rather go inside your characters and allow them a moment to discover their feelings about the place into which you have delivered them. And I do like that, despite the face I am giving. I can appreciate that a lot. But I see that more as part of building your character, not building a place, a scene, or a setting. It's just my 2 cents, which is what this vlog is all about. And the last one. Whatever the scope of your novel, it will benefit from a depiction of the social context in which it takes place. Your characters live in society, but in which strata? At what point is their social position most keenly felt? At what moment does it change? Does your heroine's status rise or fall? How can she tell? Are your cast of characters aware of the way in which society is evolving? No? Well, why not? A wide-angle view of the civilization around your story will magnify the story in exciting ways. It's also helpful because in my spin-off and even in a Soulmark series, there is definitely a certain hierarchy that is respected and that revolves a lot around tradition, but that gets shaken up in a Soulmark series, and maybe a spoiler, it will get shaken up in the next series I'm going to do as well. That doesn't seem like time and place. It seems like character stuff, which just so happens to be the next chapter. So I'm excited to make that video for you guys. Time and place, it's fine. Nothing I didn't know, not really. But some good reminders throughout it. Still useful. And still a book I would recommend you guys. If you are a writer, if you are an aspiring writer, gives you so much to think about. And that is all for this vlog. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just exit out of your browser window. It's fine. And please subscribe. Thanks, guys. See you later.